Hello there, my name is Guadalupe Almaguer. I'm the youth pastor here at River of Life Church. I'm excited to share some tips, some pointers with you as you and I get to take this journey on parenting this current generation of teens. As a youth pastor, I get a unique outlook on teenagers. Whether in school or here at the church, I get to have encounters with them, conversations, engaging ones, on what they are looking for as a student, as a teen, in a home with a Christian parent. What are they looking for? What do they need? These are questions that I get to ask them. So I get to share with you some tips and pointers on what our teenagers would love to see from us as parents. Well, I do want to start off by saying, hey, there's not a perfect manual. You're already an amazing parent. There's no secret book that's just going to allow you to coast on through into their college years without any trouble or trauma or turmoil. But what I can say is that we get to encourage one another. We get to share information of what works for each other in raising our teenagers, and we get to help each other in that way. Information is key, and we get to share it. I remember learning early on the statistics of the Generation Z, as we call it, teenagers growing up, and how their attention span is different than ours because of the technology that's around. So how can we get our kids engaged in conversation with us and not their phones or their game consoles or their iPads or computers? I think it starts with us and how intentional we are with parenting our teens. What helped me early on is realizing that my kids aren't on the same page in their maturity as I am. At 34 years old, I had the opportunity to fall and mess up, as our kids have that opportunity as well. It's hard because as a parent, me and you, we want to protect our kids from everything, from the woes of the world, from the heartache of the world, because we got to go through that. But I think what we do sometimes as parents is we neglect to understand that we also had parents preaching to us as well. And how did we take their advice? Well, you may say that's the issue. I didn't take their advice, so I want my kid to take their advice. And I would say amen to that. But that's not reality. Tip 1. You and I need to create a safe space for our kids to fall. Yes, we need to create a safe place for our kids to admit and to fall in life. Why, you may ask? Because you're the person you are now. You're the parent you are now because of what you've been through in your life. Now, you and I, we have the unique responsibility. We have a unique opportunity to be there when our kids fall. Are we going to be a parent who's going to watch their kid fall and help them up? Or are we going to be the parent that's going to watch our kid fall and say, why did you do that? A mentor said this once to me. He said, Lupe, are you going to raise kids who can run to you or run from you when they fall? Wow, that was powerful. I sat and I chewed on that for a while, and I said, you know what? I want to be a parent our kids run to. So when my daughter was 11 and my son was 9, we're driving home from church one day, and I said, you know what? I want to create a safe place for them to be honest and open with us without fear of any type of punishment or anything that could come out of that. I remember looking back and I said, hey, this is going to be an opportunity for you guys to confess whatever it is on your heart without any fear of punishment. I remember that my daughter looked at my son and my son looked at my daughter, and then they both looked at us and kind of chuckled and was like, what kind of trick is this? What's going on here? Who are you guys and where are my real parents, right? I wanted to develop something differently than what I had growing up. I wanted to create a space where my kids felt safe enough to run towards me and not run away from me. So we tried that. It worked. They opened up. They shared some little things, which I'm sure they didn't share everything, but that comes in due time. I want to create a generation of teenagers who can run towards their parents. So it's up to you. You can partner with me in this. Here's some steps. How do we achieve that? Well, I think it starts with the easiest but the single most hardest thing we do as parents, as adults, is to listen. Do you listen? Do we listen? Listen without using words. Active listening. It's hard. But I think with a generation that is full of inventors, entrepreneurs, and full of kids who are ownerships, three, two, one. We do that by listening. We achieve a safe space, growing atmosphere by listening. See, Generation Z is a generation that's full of inventors, entrepreneurs, and most importantly, full of ownership. The teens nowadays, they want to feel like they have a voice, that they're being heard. So they need ownership. So we need to not be their friend, because they don't need another friend, but we need to be a parent who's going to love differently than before. So we need to listen, active listening. So just to recap, our kids are not on the same page as you and I. We learn through our faults. So we have to allow and create a safe place for our kids to learn from their faults. And we don't need to be their friend. They don't need another friend in their life, but they do need a parent who's going to listen and love in new ways. Would you join me for part 2 as we continue to learn and grow in parenting this generation? Part 2, we're going to discuss how to love roughly. Man, that sounds exciting. How to love roughly. Thanks again for watching, and I cannot wait to see you next week.